And for now, I'm just going to add this this basic job here, and I'll show you everything. So the job template I'm going to talk about in a second. Okay, so I'm just going to create this now.
Did you want to assign it to me so that I can help you move it forward?
I will do that in a second, but I just want to
Okay,
show some settings here about
perfect.
the view. So this section here, notice this is the job card, what we call job card. This is a job list, and it's still listed here, as you can see. But this is a job card, right? And notice that there's information on here already. So if you hover over some of the tags here, if you can't see them all, you can hover over them and see what tags they have. You can see the title that you chose. You can see if it has any kind of status or priority, right? You can see the start date, how long it's been on the stage, which has been less than a minute, and the client facing status, right? So this information can be edited. If you want less or more information to be visible, you can click on edit. You can click on settings. And this is really, really important to understand. So when you create your pipeline, even if it's blank, you want to go to settings and make sure it's available to everybody in the team that needs to have access to this. If you don't add their name, most likely they won't be able to see the pipeline or any jobs that are active on here. Okay. So where it says available to, add everybody's name on here that needs to have visibility on this pipeline. If this is a bookkeeping pipeline, I might only need to add my bookkeeping staff, right? I don't need to add my tax preparation staff, or vice versa. Now in this section, the reason why you won't see your name, by the way, is because you are the firm owner and you have access to everything. You are the god of TaxDome. So you won't really need to add your name, but anybody else you would. In the sorting section, so in the case of you having like 100 job cards on stage one, you can organize them by alphabetical order. You can organize them by the time and stage. You could do by due date, by start date. So it's up to you how you want to organize this specific view. And the way my brain works is I want to see maybe the newest at the top and the oldest at the bottom. Your brain might work the other way, so by all means edit this however you'd like. And then in this section we have the default job template. So what this means is that it'll fill out the job form automatically for you, and we're going to take a look at that in a second. So I mentioned earlier, you can modify the information that you want visible on here. So if I toggle all of these off, for example, I hit save and I go back to the pipeline, notice that it is now only showing me the tags. Nothing else is visible. So I don't like that. I like to have, more information on here. So we can go back to settings. I want to see the name. I want to know the priority, the due date, and if there's a description, I want to see it, and I want to see who it's assigned to and how many days it's been on that stage. So I'll hit save, go back to the pipeline, and there it is. I get a little bit more information, right? So if there is a description here, if I add something like difficult, having a difficult time with this client, right? There we go. We have a little preview of some of the notes, right? And that's going to be helpful for the team to understand what's going on with this client. You can add any notes on here and emojis if you need to, right? And there you go. This is a really nice kind of way to track your clients. Your team can see this and they're like, oh my gosh, this client is a little bit difficult. The priority level has changed to urgent. Then you can change it to urgent. And now your team knows what's going on here. Or you, if you're a solo firm, this is perfect for you to track what's going on with each client. You don't need to have a big team to have, manage TaxDome. TaxDome is a beautiful tool for whether you are a solo firm or you have a team of 20, right? It doesn't matter. This is useful in any way. So I'm going to pause here. I reviewed a few things, right? I reviewed how to edit the Kanban view of the job card. We reviewed how to add a couple of viewers or accessees of your team so they can see the pipeline. So I'm going to pause here because I don't want to move too fast and see if anybody has any questions so far.
A couple people have questions on how to contact for personal training.
Oh, okay. So if you go to, let's see, I believe is Growth Solutions. The support plans there you can find if you need any one-on-one, training, you could definitely find it here, and you can see if we can help you, support you in any way for your onboarding, or if you only want just one session to clarify things, by all means, look at our support plans and you can purchase them through this section. All right, good question though.
And
All
then
right.
we had one question earlier. When you are looking at the pipeline from the Kanban view, that green one, sometimes it's green, sometimes they're red. What do those mean?
Sure. This means that there's an action, waiting here. So right now we have this pending, right? So that's why you're going to see, a number and a color on there because we're waiting for something to happen. All right. So again, we already know how to manipulate this, but when we add a job, all of these things, I
Can
haven't.
you show what the time budget does on the job card?
Oh, the time budget, it just gives you if you have budgeting, like for example, and that's actually I was going to get to that. The
Okay.
time budget when you create a job, it's, this job needs to be 2 hours long, and that's the budget that I have for my team, then perfect. If I add this to the settings, let's see. Let me see what view it gives us just now. Oops. There we go. So time budget gives us, I set it to 2 hours, but if I add the variance, it's going to show us how much time we're supposed to be spending on here. So the way to track time is right up here up at the top corner. So if I start a timer, and you can use this to bill clients, by the way, and a timer can start, your team member can start working on this job. They can pause it, they can finish it, but the time variance, I'm going to hit finish. I'm going to say it was like, I don't know, 35 minutes. So I have 2 hours of a budget, and I've already done about 35 minutes. So we still have, an hour 1.4 2 hours remaining in my budget. So you'll see if it goes over or not. This is in case you do budgeting this way, right? If you have, team members that will be doing 40 hours a week, and then you allot certain jobs to them, it helps you, manage how much time your team spends on this. And also, if you want to bill your client, you can do billing with some of the time tracking that you do. Okay. All right. So let's go back to something that I feel is super, super important, right? Because we've done all of this editing of the pipeline. We understand job cards a little bit more. And by the way, if you didn't notice, you can drag and drop to different stages if you need to do that. When you drag and drop to different stages, the system will tell you, hey, you want to jump here, and there's these actions that are going to happen. Do you want them to happen? I can uncheck them if I don't want them to happen, or if I do, I just leave them, right? And it'll tell me, hey, there is a proposal that needs to be signed, and I'm just going to have it move to the next stage anyway. There we go. You can do it manually, but the purpose here is to actually auto move things, right? So again, remember what we're waiting for is that engagement letter to be signed. Once that is signed, it's going to move to the next stage. Now, this section here, I haven't talked about it. There's a lot of things to cover on here, but I'm going to let you know that you want to have a job template on here. So if you create a job on the fly, like right now, if I create this job, it's going to ask me which account I would like to add to the job. And because I'm already looking at the pipeline, it's going to ask me, what stage you want it to go to. But if you were creating a job from the new button right up at the top, you click on job, it's going to ask you again, what account do you want? Which pipeline do you want? And do you want it to start on stage 1? Do you want that job to start on stage 1? And do you want to use a job template? A job template fills out this information for you. Super, super helpful, because I don't want to be filling this out every single time I create a job. And I don't wish that upon any of you either, right? We want to save time. We want to make sure that this is seamless, whether you add 100 jobs or one job. I don't want you to be filling this out over and over. So how do you get to that? How do you create the job template? You go to templates, and then we go to firm templates, and then we go to jobs. So in this section, we want to create a job template, right? When you create a job template, you can say this is for tax returns. Maybe for individuals, right? Individual tax returns. You can put a year on here, whatever you'd like. The job name is what is going to generate for you. So by that, I mean this name. Okay, let me go to jobs. The name that you see here, for example, this says 2023 tax return for Fab Garcia. If this is what I want to generate for all of my jobs, their name here is going to automatically fill in for me, but it can be 2024, 2025. It just depends on what template you use. So in this case, I'm calling it individual tax return 2025. That's the name of the template. So my job name is going to be 2025 tax return for account name. So that automatically will fill in for me. Notice that this one here doesn't have the name of the client because I didn't choose that template. And this one it does because I chose the template. This one at the bottom as well, it filled in the information for me. So this is a time budgeting. If you automatically will allot 2 or let's say 4 hours for this tax return to be completed in, it doesn't have to be the full 4 hours, but using the timing, the timer that I showcased earlier, great. If you don't do any budgeting, don't worry about this. You can leave it blank. The priority, if you want every job to be at medium priority when you create it, great. The notes, you can leave them blank unless you want to call upon a short code. Maybe you want their client ID number, or you want notes. We do have a column called notes. Remember, we imported that. So maybe I want some notes to be imported automatically here. And if they don't have notes, it's going to be blank, which is okay. Now, this is important to understand. When I create a job, it needs to be assigned to somebody in the team. It can be you, it could be a tax preparer, it could be the admin. You can use two different types of assignees here. So if you want to do team member, um, when I create individual tax return jobs, they're all going to go to me, or they're all going to go to Regina. She is my tax specialist in my firm, and she's the only one really that does tax prep stuff. So I don't really have more people on the team that do that. So I'll just have her be the permanent person. If that's not the case, you can use roles. So if you want the preparer to be the one that gets assigned this job, then perfect. You choose preparer. Preparer can be anybody that I assigned the preparer. Remember that when we created our accounts in the info section, we created some of these roles, right? So if the preparer here is Catherine, right, then whoever the preparer is on the account is going to go to the job is going to go be assigned to them. So it might be Catherine for this account, it might be George for the other account, it might be Katie for another account. It doesn't matter who it is. I want the preparer to complete most of the tasks of this job. So that's what this means. Now, you can leave it blank and later assign it to somebody, but it's nice to know that you have these options here available to you. And now in this section, you can have a due date that is absolute. Like say, I want my due date to be May 31st for any job that I create moving forward. Or you can say something like, in moment 0, I want this to generate a due date within 7 days. So I need to make sure that this job that I create for this client is done within 7 days. Or maybe you are one of those amazing firms that gets tax returns done in 3 days. Perfect. You can say something like 3 days. I have some clients that like to use 14 days to give them a little bit of wiggle room. So you can choose between an absolute date, like a set date, which we all know there's deadlines out there, right? So you can use sets like the September 15th deadline. And this template can be called the September job template, right? And that way you know that this has a specific due date. Now on the right hand side here,